For more on what a ban could mean for Nvidia, let's bring in Susquehanna Financial Group's Christopher Rolland. He's a senior analyst who focuses on semiconductors. Chris, great to have you with us. How are you thinking about a potential ban, particularly when it comes to an Nvidia that gave a very bullish forecast and is trading at a pretty high valuation?
Yeah, in our history and the history that we've seen from the government, when these kind of stories leak, they typically come to fruition sometime in the next few weeks or months. So we are bracing for some sort of an impact here, which, CFO Kress for Nvidia was out today saying it would be limited. So that's how we're thinking about it.
Do you buy that? I mean, so you're going to say we're going to take the CFO's at his word and believe that, because wasn't the A800 chip the workaround chip that they developed to get around the ban on the A100, which was subject to the original ban in October?
That's right. So Colette originally talked about this being a $400 million impact. We never really saw that in the numbers the first time around when they switched to the 800. So we think sales in China are still very, very robust. There have been stories about smuggling other chips in with crates of live lobsters, for example. You can find those things, those stories out there on the internet. We think sales into China are robust, but given Colette's comments today, what we think is that backlog for these products are tremendous right now. And so that if China's out of the loop here and they can't ship, someone else is stepping in. And so it tells us a little bit about demand here. It also probably tells us a little bit about supply, which we've been picking up in China, or in Asia, excuse me, about some what's called CoWoS capacity. A technique that's put into these AI chips, and TSM may be limited in that CoWoS capacity going into the back half. So given limited supply and then demand coming from other places, we don't think this is going to be a big problem.
So, Chris, it's Karen. Thanks for being on. Who is going to fill that gap then? If Nvidia doesn't need that business, can easily sell elsewhere, who's going to fill that gap?
It's going to come from U.S. hyperscalers. It's going to come from ChatGPT copiers. It's going to come from AI startups that want to put all this infrastructure in-house instead of using it on cloud. It is coming from everywhere. And it was really ChatGPT last November that launched 1,000 ships. And so if 20 of those ships are gone, they don't belong to China. They're going to be picked up elsewhere.
So if they're just picked up elsewhere, that implies that there was a supply constraint on these chips to begin with, and they could actually sell a lot more, except that they're only putting a certain amount. I mean, if you're saying that if they don't sell to China, these other guys are going to easily pick it up. I mean, what does that tell you about the dynamics of the market here?
I think that's exactly what I'm telling you, is that backlog has ballooned, has expanded over the past 6 to 9 months. And Nvidia is now in a situation where it has limited supply, particularly going into Q3, Q4. And so this China situation might actually allow them to catch up with some of their backlog from their other customers here.
And it puts China on the back foot in terms of competing in the AI race overall as well. But, Chris, I wanted to ask you, because there's this notion that China, you mentioned the lobsters, and there's a story in, I think it was PC Magazine, so it's not like just some weird TikTok video going around about lobsters and chips, about these chips being smuggled, I think, from Hong Kong or into Hong Kong alongside crates of lobsters. But there was also this notion that there had been not oversupply, but pull forward. They were stockpiling chips in China. How do we know that end markets in the United States are not stockpiling either?
I doubt they're stockpiling in the United States. They've certainly put in some orders. There might even be some double orders there. But the point that you brought up around China, we absolutely agree with. We saw this take place in the FPGA market around 5G, right before the U.S. banned those FPGA products. We think China has been doing this. They have been taking in supply over the past few months, trying to stockpile these things because of exactly what we're talking about right now. So that is a small overhang, but if you can't ship to China anyway, at least Nvidia got those shipments in earlier. So that is how we're feeling about that.